What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast, and today I've got here one of the most luxurious SUVs ever made, in 1/24 scale by Che Zhi. So this is what the box looks like. As you can see, we've got the Che Zhi logo over here, and also at the top. And then if we look at the back of the box, you can see here we have a list of the various models that they have released. For example, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the Audi Q5, I think, then the regular GLS, the Lexus, and of course the GLS 600 here, as well as a Tesla and the Lamborghini Urus. So, let's unbox this. I got this model from AliExpress for around 24 euros with box. You can find it for around 19 euros without box. But I always prefer having the box, so I pay a little extra. And here it is. The Mercedes-Maybach GLS 600 4Matic. This SUV first came out in 2019, and it's basically the Maybach trim level of the regular X167 Mercedes GLS, which was also released in the same year, and in the decade prior to that was known as the GL class, before being rebranded to the GLS in 2016. Now this is the pre-facelift version, as you can tell by the lower front grille being a single piece, while the facelift reduced it to just these two corner grilles only. So the manufacturer of this model is the unlicensed Chinese brand Che Zhi, and the only other alternative in 1/24 scale is Chimei Model, which is also a Chinese brand. Over the course of this review, what I'm going to do is compare the Che Zhi with the Chimei Model. As for the main reason why I bought the Che Zhi version, it's because of the two-tone paint scheme, which I love. However, if detail level is more important to you, then get the Chimei Model instead. That one is only monocolor, available in full black, full white, or gray metallic, but the rear quarter window is transparent and not just painted on. The other windows also have raised glass. The Maybach logos are the proper way around. The hood ornament is a bit thinner, and some of them, not all of them, as it depends on whether it's an old batch or a newer batch, have Mercedes-Benz logos on the wheel hubs. However, the Chimei model has its own problems. For example, its taillights look worse. They lack the detail the Che Zhi taillights have. And the Chimei model taillights have black pegs for the light, while here on the Che Zhi they are hidden remarkably well, allowing both for a realistic-looking taillight and one that features illumination. It also says Maybachs on the Chimei model instead of properly spelling out Maybach, like here on the Che Zhi. We also have the Mercedes logo and GLS 600 printed on the rear hatch. And opening up the rear hatch, you can see that this Che Zhi also has this beautifully detailed scuff plate. They exist to prevent luggage from scratching up the paint job, while it's just matte silver paint on the Chimei model. And it's great that this kind of detail, which is usually reserved for 1/18, has been applied in this smaller scale as well. And taking a look inside, you can see we have a fairly roomy trunk space, and you can see right through to the dashboard from back here. So that's a nice bit of functionality on a 1/24 model. The headlights don't look particularly good on either one of these China models, but I feel like the Che Zhi ones do look a bit better in that, again, the black pegs are hidden while they're pretty obvious on the Chimei model. The main grille is a bit too chromy on the Che Zhi, and the gaps between the grille bars are bigger on the Chimei model. But for that, I think the bottom air intakes look worse on the Chimei model compared to here on the Che Zhi, where we get two different styles of chrome, a matte chrome for the grille and a reflective chrome for the trim panel above, while they aren't reflective on the Chimei model. It also says Che Zhi on the front license plate, while it's just matte silver on the Chimei model. On the other hand, the Che Zhi has no rear license plate at all, and instead just a print in its place saying Che Zhi, while the Chimei model has a separate rear license plate with a number on it. While we're at the back, I want to point out how impressed I am with the chrome rear diffuser the exhausts are embedded into. It looks fantastic, and while it is chrome here, on the Chimei model it is matte silver. Now I gotta be honest and admit I'm not impressed with the hood ornament. Not only is it too thick, but Che Zhi has put a ball in the center on purpose, for copyright reasons, to say this is their own logo and not the Mercedes star. The Chimei model hood ornament is also a bit too thick, but at least they got the shape of the star right. The interesting thing about this hood ornament, though, is that this Mercedes-Maybach GLS is the first Mercedes SUV with a hood ornament on it. And Mercedes has been making SUVs since 1979, if you consider the G-Class as one. But they never put the star as a raised hood ornament on them until now. The coolest feature about this car, though, is its working light system. There's a button underneath, right here, that you can press, and when you do, you can illuminate it. A big feature of the Che Zhi GLS 600 is that behind the front grille, they have a built-in flashing lights mechanism that I haven't seen done on any other diecast car. It switches between red and blue, kind of like on a police siren, except it's behind the front grille, making it look really glamorous, and definitely a unique feature in my entire diecast car collection. Opening up the hood, on first glance the engine looks more recognizable on the Chimei model than here on the Che Zhi, because the Chimei model's engine has that familiar V-shape with the Mercedes logo on it. But that's because this is the actual GLS 600 Maybach's 4-liter V8 engine, while the Chimei model mistakenly gave their GLS 600 Maybach the Z223 Maybach sedan's V12 engine. Some batches, not all, probably the later ones, of the Chimei model have reflective foil for the side view mirrors, while here on the Che Zhi GLS 600 there's nothing. And taking a look at the side of the car, you can see that it looks good, and even though this is 1/24 scale, we have full suspension, and so the car can bounce just like the real GLS 600, which is cool. The chromed out wheels are very similar to the real GLS 600's rims, and despite having all these spokes, Che Zhi made sure to include ventilated brake discs as well as a red brake caliper behind them. Although the caliper moves with the disc, and so that's a bit unrealistic. The only thing missing are Mercedes stars on the wheel hubs. Oh yeah, and I forgot to show you one more thing, and that is that the door handles are separate chrome pieces, which is also nice. And now let's take a look at the interior. And the cool thing is that all 4 doors open on this 1/24 scale model, which is very unusual for Maestos, for example, but for AliExpress models it's pretty common. And so, in general, I'd say both manufacturers' interiors are interesting in their own way. Here on the Che Zhi, it's in a uniform brown color, while on the Chimei model, it's in a two-tone, either black or beige, with a contrasting burgundy on the dashboard, and on the seat cushions, which also have a weird ribbing that isn't accurate to the real car's seat cushions. The seats, in my opinion, look better on the Che Zhi GLS 600, and the front seats have nice side bolstering. Plenty of legroom. Got the rear center console with the climate vents, But what I really like about the Che Zhi's interior is that they put far more attention to detail on the door cards than the Chimei model did. You can see we have the stereo speakers, door handles, door locks, etc. all printed onto the door cards, so that's really neat. But on the other hand, the Chimei model has another vent on the right edge of the passenger side dashboard, while the Che Zhi does not. Taking a look at the driver's side, the steering wheels on both models look pretty nice with Mercedes logos in the center, but it does have a more unique shape here on the Che Zhi, while the Chimei models looks a bit too small. On the other hand, the steering wheel of the Chimei model turns with the front wheel, while on this Che Zhi it does not. The surrounding dashboard details and instrument panel are also done very nicely for 124 AliExpress standards. And the dashboard looks very similar to the real GLS 600s. However, one thing that's annoying is that the front seats don't have back panels on the Che Zhi, while on the Chimei model, they do. Just like it says Maybach, this time spelled correctly, on the instrument panel, while here we don't have that. The Chimei model also has a moonroof, and it is heavily tinted, but see-through, which is nice. While here on the Che Zhi, you instead get a non-see-through moonroof, but where the underside is in fact a starry LCD roof with changing colors that looks amazing. Definitely a good reason to get this model, I'd say. I believe Che Zhi had the same roof on their Rolls-Royce Phantom 8. Notice how the rearview mirror is missing though. And from the top it still looks like a moonroof, but a bit weird in that half of it has black frit, and it's also dual layered, so any dust particles stuck in between the two layers are pretty much impossible to remove. The Che Zhi's final feature are these big, deployable, chromed out running boards, which also have Maybach logos on them. This time, the proper way around. While on the Chimei model, they're static and also smaller. And finally, taking a look at the bottom of the car, you can see that here we have some detail, but it's nothing special. We've got like the fuel tank over here, muffler for the dual exhaust system, and then up here we have the on-off switch and the battery compartment. Also, these two running boards can be tucked back in, so all you have to do for that is just do it like this, and that way you can tuck them back. And I'll show you from this angle how to do the other one, like so. Awesome model. But ultimately, what it really comes down to is if you prefer two-tone and flashier light effects both behind the front grille and on the ceiling, or if you prefer a transparent rear quarter window as well as full glass on the other windows instead of nothing. So I hope you guys liked my review of the 124 scale Mercedes-Maybach GLS 600 4Matic by Che Zhi. If it had a thinner hood ornament, transparent rear quarter windows, the other windows having glass in them, and Mercedes logos on the wheel hubs, it would have been the perfect model. But now it competes with the Chimei model for those features, while this one is primarily worth getting for its two-tone paint job, deployable running boards, and extra light effects. And take care, have a wonderful day. This is Imperial Diecast, signing out.